My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of RRR. And this is a movie from India that everybody has lost their minds over. It just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about this movie. Everybody loves it. Everybody's calling it one of the best action movies ever. People are calling it a musical. I've heard so many crazy things about this movie that my expectations were up here. Like, I could not wait to watch it. However, when it came out on Netflix, it came out in Hindi, which isn't the original language. I believe it's something like Telugu. I probably mispronounced that. So I'm like, I don't want to watch it dubbed with the improper language, but it's just become clear to me that it's not getting a physical release here, that the original version isn't getting added to Netflix. So I gave it a try, and I'm going to say this. I know this is not going to be a popular opinion. I still liked this movie. I did not love it, and I'm not nearly as high on it as everybody else. There's definitely some great elements to it. I definitely get the appeal, but I think looking at the story and characters, it's just not as good as I was hoping. But let's begin talking about the things I love, and I love the absurdity of it. Like, we get introduced to the two main characters in this over the top fashion that just completely worked for me. Like, this one guy's facing off a crowd of like thousands, it looks like. And he's got to bring this one guy to his boss. So he just jumps over the fence and just takes on all these different people, and he chases this one guy among this crowd, and it's such a great character introduction. I'm just like, is this how insane this movie is going to be? Because I'm going to love it if so. And then the other main character gets introduced by him fighting a tiger, and I'm just like, okay, this is freaking awesome. Like, what better way can you introduce two characters? And the way that these two characters meet, there's this boy in danger, and one of them is on top of a bridge, and the other one's by the beach, and he just looks at him, and he goes like, dude, and he's just talking with his hands, and they know exactly what to do, what the other person is thinking. They rescue the boy, and I'm just like, this is such an over the top blast. I love it. And we get this montage where the two of them become friends, and it has an absurdist tone to it, which really worked for me. And then we get into the musical aspect, which isn't as present as I thought it would be. Like, there are some scenes where they do break into song, but for a 3 hour long movie, I think it maybe happens 3 times? Something like that, but the first time where they're at this party and one of them is getting made fun of because he can't dance properly, and then they just get up and break down into this dance, I could not stop smiling. It was just overwhelmingly joyful. And I loved the song, it was very catchy. I loved the choreography. You know, when they're playing around with the overalls and they're playing with the strap, I thought that was a lot of fun. I loved that scene. There was a moment later on where one character is getting beaten pretty bad, and it actually has a very powerful feel to it that I dug. And I love the music in this movie. It's one of my favorite scores of the year, definitely. And I think you got yourself some really great action. It's very well shot, it's well choreographed, and it's so over the top, but it still's got some great grounded elements to it that I really dug. Like, there's this one scene where these two people are fighting a bunch of guys and one of them has injured legs, so he's got him on his shoulders, and I just love stuff like that. So there is lots I love to this movie, and I love lots of what they're doing for the story. I think the potential is definitely there. The characters, who they are, and the relationship at the start and what it is at the end, I think has some great beats to it. I love how they purposely leave out some information about some of the characters, so you're left to figure it out later on. But I just don't think there's any justification for this movie being 3 hours long. That's my number one complaint with most movies, and I was hoping I'd be like, yeah, it's so over the top and ambitious that this movie totally owns that 3 hour one time. But by the last hour of this movie, I was just like, okay, it's time to start wrapping it up. It's going on a bit too long. And if this movie was like an hour, 50 minutes, 2 hours, I feel like that would have been perfect. We do get to this one flashback sequence, and it's not bad, but I also think it's not needed. I get the information it's revealing, but it's still not needed. And when you're telling a 3 hour long story, and it's just, the story just feels like potential and it doesn't hit it, I have to ding the movie on that. Like, as much as I love the scene where the two main characters forced to meet, and as much as I love that montage where they become best friends, it's also so absurd that it doesn't feel grounded in anything that I could emotionally connect to. There's always an over the top element to it, and I just didn't care for these two's friendship as much as I would have liked to. There's also this one romance with this girl named Jenny, and I felt like it was just completely unneeded. Well, it's not unneeded because it does lead to some things in the plot, but I did not buy the chemistry at all. The one guy can't speak English, and she just seems to like him, even though they can't have any conversations. It's just her being kind, and it didn't work for me. She kind of just gets forgotten in the second half of the movie. We do see her a few times, but she was really just a means to an end, and the character just mostly disappears after that. I also think the CGI isn't always great. As much as I love the scene when they come in with all the different animals and all that, the CGI is a bit rough though. And like, we got this final action scene in the woods, which is really well shot. The choreography is great. And then the scene ends, and like that's the wrap up of the movie. And I'm just like, really? That's it? Like, the action was good here, but like, I don't know, it just kind of made me think that as much as we hate the villain, we don't really see the heroes and the villains interact all too often. So when the villain gets defeated in the end, oh, spoiler alert, but you knew that. I just felt nothing, because it just felt like nothing was built up to between the heroes and the villain. So I don't know, that just left me underwhelmed. So like, look, I think the plot beats and lots of what they're going for is really fantastic, but I don't think it's as good of storytelling as people are making it to be. I think there's definitely room for improvement. They could have tightened it up, sold you on the friendship a bit more, and also just, yeah. See, I do like this movie. I do love some of the action, the musical aspects to it. I do love how over the top and absurd it is in moments. But if they just tighten it up and just try to tell a much tighter story, I think that would have really benefited the movie. I think the biggest fault of it in the end is the 3 hour runtime, because it just starts to drag in moments, and I start to lose interest for a good chunk of the second half, and it's very disappointing because I wanted to love this movie, and I still like it. I think it's fine. I think it's entertaining. I just don't think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. I do appreciate the ambition of it. It's very well directed. The performances are good. I just can't comment on them too much because I watched it dubbed in another language, Hindi. I didn't choose English because English when it's dubbed, takes me out of it more than anything else. I can say the physicality of the actors is really good, but the voice performances, I have nothing to say on that. So, look, I enjoyed this movie. I recommend it if you're interested. It's a movie I won't forget. It's just not a movie I see myself going back to all too often. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give RRR a 6 out of 10. Okay, did you watch RRR? Is this your first Bollywood movie like it is mine? If not, what is yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.